and welcome, and thank you for joining me. Today we're going to talk about CRM analytics, how you can get access to an org, how you can start practicing. There's some key elements. Once you understand that, I think it makes so much more sense, and then you can start to do some trailhead modules as well as some projects that's out there, and it will really help you kind of understand the foundation. All right, so let's get right into it. So the first topic is how do you get access to the org? And I will send this link on the description, but you can go to this link, and this is essentially going to provide you a free org that already comes with CRM analytics licenses that you need, and it also has data like any other developer org. If you already have access to a CRM enabled org, that's even awesome, so you can practice with your real data. Now let's talk about permission sets and what you need. So here I am in my org, and if you already have an org, you can see that. Make sure you have assigned yourself CRM Analytics Plus admin. The CRM Analytics Plus is kind of a newer SKU. It used to be called Wave before, then it was called Tableau CRM, Einstein Analytics at some point, but now we have settled on CRM Analytics Plus, at least at this time. Who knows, tomorrow it might be something else, but right now it's CRM Analytics Plus, and that actually includes the Einstein Analytics, the analytics part, as well as the Einstein Discovery. So key thing to note is if you have some older license that doesn't have Discovery, you may want to talk to your account executives in Salesforce and figure out the licensing. It does get tricky sometimes. Based on what SKU you are in, you may or may not have all the features, but CRM Analytics Plus should give you access to all the Einstein features, including analytics and discovery. So make sure that's assigned to you. So how do you actually check if your org has license provision so you can practice and check it out? So go to your company information like anything else, and you will go to the permission set license section, and you should see CRM Analytics Plus. I have 2 licenses right now. If you have licenses and you're not seeing CRM Analytics, you can go to Analytics settings first, and you will need to enable CRM Analytics. I already have it enabled, so make sure that's enabled. And there are also other settings that you may want to check out depending on your needs, but I left it to default pretty much. I haven't had to change anything. After all of this is set, go to App Launcher and search for Analytics Studio app. So first thing you have to understand that CRM-A is not exactly the same as Salesforce reports and dashboards. And in fact, CRM-A is much faster because when you are running Salesforce reports, you are essentially querying the data, the normalized data, which means, let's say if you have a report for accounts with opportunities, every time you are running that report, it is going to the account, it is finding the related opportunities and bringing all that data together, which is a lot of time in runtime. So when you have a lot of data, you might notice that your reports are getting slower. And with CRM-A, you have an opportunity to denormalize, which is flatten the table a little bit. So when you're running the dashboard, it will be much faster because your data is already sitting in the format that you need it to be, and you're just running it. That is one thing. Then second thing to keep in mind is the data that CRM-A runs on is not real time with Salesforce data. It's not exactly real time connected to Salesforce. While you can have all your Salesforce data in CRM-A out of the box, there is a connector from Salesforce to CRM-A. It's not exactly real time. You have to set up your scheduling and sync processes, sync jobs to sync the data from Salesforce to CRM-A. Keep that in mind because that's really important to understand. You don't want to set expectations that the moment somebody made an opportunity change, your CRM-A will just magically have that data. That's not the case, and I will talk much more later about that and how to schedule various jobs. Let me actually go to this image and talk about how does it all works and what does the different terminology mean, just to give a quick overview. So the main thing that we all really care about are the dashboards. That's all the leadership cares about. You need to see the dashboards, the visual piece of CRM-A, which is the dashboards. App, you will see the term app in CRM-A, which is app is a combination, a collection of dashboards, lenses, data sets. Everything kind of is encapsulated in an app. There is really 3 key parts, I think, for CRM-A. One is the data visualization, which is the dashboards, the visual aspect of it. Then you have got the data engineering piece, which is actually getting the data to power the dashboards. And the third also important piece is the AI element, which is the Einstein discovery, which is to get insights into your data. What is the probability of closing this opportunity, that kind of thing. So that's get into more AI. Building the dashboards and creating the data kind of go hand in hand. You can't really start creating data sets without having in mind what dashboard you're trying to build. Let's say you're trying to build a sales pipeline dashboard that will show you all the opportunities by type and by industry in a kind of a bar chart form. That is helpful information to know. Then we can say, okay, which data sets should we focus on? Also, you can't really build a dashboard without data sets. So they are very interrelated and should go hand in hand. You need to have an end result in mind before you start building the dashboard of what are we trying to build. It's totally fine to do some experimentation. Maybe if you have some Salesforce reports already, the standard Salesforce reports and dashboards that you are looking to convert into CRM because it has more features, you can try that out. That's a good approach. And then you can add more of the robust features like getting data from external systems. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so let's come back here. What is dashboard? We already know what dashboard is. Lenses is actually a way to visualize a data set. So in Lenses, you can kind of experiment and say, show me this opportunity in different ways. And I want to see a bar chart, I want to see a donut or a pie chart, whatever that might be. You can do all of that exploration in Lenses. So it's a really cool way to explore the data before actually getting into dashboard directly. Data sets, as the name sounds, it's the data set. This is what powers everything. It's like the blood of the system. Here I put some connections. So local Salesforce, this is the Salesforce that you have the CRM enabled. So by default, there will be a Salesforce connector. You also have a lot of other connections. You can connect to other Salesforce org. So if your org has multiple Salesforce, and if you're looking to get some insights from a separate Salesforce org, you can connect an external Salesforce as well. You can also connect AWS, SQL Server, Snowflake, Databricks. Like there are many other connections that you can connect data from into Salesforce, and you can run them on a schedule basis. You can also load a CSV file. Let's say if you have your quota or something in a CSV, you can load that as well directly and create data sets. Then what is recipe? So more often than not, you will have data that you need to marry up. So let's say you are getting opportunity data from Salesforce and you're getting some currency conversion in an Excel sheet, or maybe your forecasting data is in some other system. Once all of that is in place, you may need to do some kind of preparing. So you're getting all your ingredients and then you're preparing your recipes, just like cooking. You're getting all your ingredients, but you have to mix it together, kind of blend it. So maybe you want to map the opportunity to the owner, to their particular quota. All of that is done in recipe. Before there used to be data flow editor and recipe separate. I think Salesforce now combined it. I'm coming back to CRM after like 2-3 years, and a lot of things have changed, which is great. So recipe is where you're really kind of mixing things and getting the data that you need. You can tweak data, you can do some basic cleanup as well, rename your column names like you see fit. But at the end of the day, the recipe will also create data set. And so at the end, the goal is to create data set that can then be used in the dashboard. Hopefully that all made sense. Now let's see some things in action. So I'm here in my CRM Analytics app. So I just found this sales app 1 just to show you, right? We have this, this is the app. Everything in here is a dashboard, but as I scroll down, I can see some lenses here and some data set. So that's like an app. But if you go here in the home page, this is what your home page would look like. So if I create an app, it will create everything for you. You will also have access to various templates that is more relevant to that industry. So it's a good place to start because you don't have to build everything from scratch, and it gives you like really good foundational stuff, which of course you can change because your data, you may be using custom objects and other fields that this doesn't account for. If you were to just pick sales analytics, I can pick that and hit continue, and these are the things it will come with. It's using account, opportunity, all the standard objects related to sales, and what are the features. It comes with some dashboard, lenses, data flow, which is kind of the old version of recipes. So I'm going to create a brand new app, and then it's going to ask me questions on how you want to personalize your app. So let's do that, and it's looking for new data requirements, and if I just wanted to go with basic, I can do that, or I can also do custom, which will ask me very specific questions about what products I want to include. Maybe I'm not using leads or anything else. Maybe I want to remove products, for example, or cases. Actually, I'm gonna add products and remove cases. You can do all of these. If you chose the standard option, it's not gonna ask you any question and just create the dashboard or the app for you. Just gonna keep it as it is, and this is helpful because you may not be using account type to segment your customer. Maybe you are using a custom field. So it's really good that you can actually create your own personalized app, even though you are using a template. So you can pick the field that you want to use. Same thing with all of this. I'm just gonna leave them as is for now. It will take at least 15 to 20 minutes for you to create your first app. So I'm not going to wait for that. Once you create the app, it will take a while, as it says here, and you'll see Astro jumping around here. You can let it happen. You don't have to stay on this page. You can move around. We're just gonna go and explore more. Let's start with exploring an existing data set and what does it look like inside a lens. So I'm just gonna pick an opportunity data set. So I'm just gonna use this one. So anytime you see this shape, hexagon shape, that's the data set. So this is the lens, new lens. So lenses are powerful because they help you explore the data. And let's click around. As you can see on the left hand side, you have all the different features around how you can set this up. So right now it's 706 count of rows. I can change that into, let's say, sum of opportunity amount instead of rows. I can also add bars. I can say show me the opportunities by like type or forecast category. Do that. You can add more bars, like maybe I want to see which account types for which forecast category, so I can group it like that. I think for the most part the out of the box features allow you to do anything you would want to do, but you can also use query. This use SQL, but recently I saw this switch to SQL. So if you're not familiar with this query language, you can also switch to SQL, and first it will clear everything up, but just to show you, look at that, you can actually write SQL right there, which is pretty awesome. So you can group by, you can use all the SQL code here. There are some limitations, I believe, but this is good to know that you can use SQL inside here if that's your choice of language that you want to use. Alright, we're back to the lens, and I switched it back to very simple view. We are just keeping the sum of amount. I added a bar for forecast category and account type because the industry was getting too busy. And we're right here. You can now change it to, let's say, stacked and horizontal. So this is what I like better. It looks visually better to me. And as you noticed, the thing on the left also changes as you change the chart. So now the bar length is over here, and we have bars here. Another thing I want to show is formatting. So you can also format your chart. So maybe you want it to show like omitted in a different color. You can do that, conditional formatting. But you can also do this in the dashboard, which is what we're going to do. So, but just to show you, you can go here, say forecast category, and right now it's automatically assigned best case, green, closed, red, commit, omitted. So perhaps I want to change that, pick values myself. For omitted, I want to put everything to done here, and for omitted I want to make it red, like that. So that's my omitted, and that's the closed, like very dark blue. So you can do all of that right here in the lens. Now Some color changes. I'm gonna now click to designer. Click to designer means it is going to add this lens to a dashboard. If you have an open dashboard, it will put it in there, but if you don't, then it will just open up a new dashboard for you. And I'm going to just call it opportunity forecast, something like that. Click to designer, it opened up a new dashboard, and you can see it created that query for me. So in dashboards, these things are called data sets, as we already know, and these are the queries. So you can directly drag and drop here. That's perfectly fine thing to do if you are creating a simple dashboard. Or you may want to check out all these other options on the left hand side. So just like the lenses, where we had some options and visualize, the dashboard had their own set of options. There are many options. You can get very creative and crazy as long as you have the data that you need. We're just going to cover it at a very high level. So over here you can create some chart. List is very interesting, and I see this used a lot, so we're just going to go over that quickly. List is basically, it's giving you a list of things that you can then use to filter other things. Let's see what that means. I am going to click on here and use the, let's say, opportunities data set that I already have, and I want to filter it on forecast category. Okay, so let's just add that here. So what it did for me is just added that best case closed forecast in here for me, because that's the field I selected, and it just created a list. Now if I select here and go on the right side, I'm getting a lot of other options. There are widget option and query option. If I go to query option, I can make it a multi-select and apply global filters. So this is important because you want all your dashboard elements kind of interact with each other. So let's say you only wanted to see forecast, and all the other numbers will change accordingly. Instead of showing PowerPoint, you can show a dashboard to the leadership and interact with it. On the widget section, we have more of a UI thing. You can customize the display format, whatever it's called in the name. I'm not going to do any of that. Filtering style, you like one style over the other. You can also change the background color for that. If I just want to make it all red, I can do that. Don't like that. Here we go. That looks very terrible. Okay, so that's the list. Now I wanted to draw a chart. If you just click out of that, you can come back to here. So look what happened here. So the moment we drop the list and then we created a query, every query will be created as like its own little thing here. So as you can see, forecast category 1 is this one, and opportunity forecast is what we just created. So I'm just going to drop that here. You can also bring that chart like that, then drop this here. You can do that too. Or you can use a table, and I can also drop this right here. And see, even though I use the opportunity forecast lens that I created, it still created a table for me, even though I dropped this one, which was clearly a chart. So this is dictated, this thing dictates what it's going to look like. So this is like a container that will dictate what your dashboard is going to look like. Okay, now coming back to that global filter thing. So I'm going to go to preview now. We have forecast category and the account type. We're going to change that color in a bit. But if I wanted to just look at best case, I'm going to click that, and look at that. All my dashboards are now only showing best case, all the elements. So that's the beauty of global filter. Can do closed, add closed here, forecast category. Awesome. And you can change the colors and conditional formatting and all that good stuff in the widget section. So if you go to widget, you can change your font size, the title alignment, you can change the color, background color, just like the other one. What I recommend is play around with different options, see what your users end up liking. You can always go with your company logo and your company colors scheme. Let me show you one more thing here, the number. So let's say you wanted to just show a big number of like, what's your total revenue? I'm going to click here, and instead of count of rows, all I'm going to do is change this to sum and amount. and hit done. Let me just expand that value. Look at that. So I have a sum of amount. Expand this. That's my total value of opportunity. And if I click on this, I can further say sort in the number. I can do 811 million, alignment to center. So, and you can do just formatting changes as well. And this will still work. So this will still interact with everything else. So if you just click on closed, it will only show you the closed sum of amount. So look, my value changed to 425 million. So far we covered apps, how to create an app, and that app is still spinning, as you can see. How you can use existing data set and explore them using Lens, then how to add the lenses to a dashboard, and then how you can add other queries within the dashboard and use all these other features, awesome features that dashboard has. In the next video, we're going to look into the data set, how to create a data set, how to schedule something, because this video is becoming too long, so I'm going to break it into 2 videos. So check out the next video after this one.